Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of international rugby, the first of the weekend. This one, Ireland taking on Argentina. Now, the Irish last week, they didn't quite have the performance that they were after, whereas Argentina looking extremely strong in their last game. Just looking through at it was sitting, that wasn't even a sentence. I'm very excited for this game. It's a very unpredictable one as well, but 23 points to 13, New Zealand getting the win over the Irish, and Argentina, a big win over the Italians, 50 points to 18. There's a lot on the line here. One side trying to continue their November international momentum, and the other trying to create some. But looking through at the starting lineup, first of all, for the Irish, it is going to be Andrew Porter, Ronan Kelleher, and Finlay Bealham as the starting front three. Joe McCarthy at 4, and James Ryan as the number 5, with Ty Byrne at 6, Josh Van den Flair at number 7, and Caelan Doris as the number 8. So really limited changes compared to what we saw last week up against New Zealand, and the same can be said about the backline as well. Jamison Gibson-Park, a fantastic performance last week. In fact, you wouldn't have thought he'd been out for so long with an injury. He came back in, he looked like he was going to be able to play the part, and he did everything that he could to get the Irish on the front foot. Just wasn't quite enough. Jack Crowley as the number 10, Robbie Henshaw and Gary Ringrose will make up the midfield, so a little bit of a switch there. No Bundy Arki for this match. James Lowe at number 11, Matt Hansen at number 14, and then Hugo Keenan at number 15. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Argentines. In the front row, Thomas Garchot, Julio Montoya, and Joel Scalavi as the number 3. In the locking duo, Guido Pitti, alongside Pedro Rubiolo, Pablo Matera as the number 6, Juan Matan Gonzalez, and Joaquin Oviedo, who has done fantastic throughout the Rugby Championship. Wanting to continue that form here as well. On the back line, Gonzalo Berjano will be the starting 9, with Thomas Almanoz, who was a superstar, just like Oviedo, throughout the Rugby Championship. Matthias Maroni and Lucio Cinti will be the midfield, with Batista Del Gui, Rodrigo Isgro, and also Juan Cruz Malia at number 15. But those are the starting sides for these two teams, ladies and gentlemen. We are only moments away from the start of this matchup. Some good footy on this weekend, says Marco. Exactly right. There are plenty of big games. Love Argentina to win against the arrogant Irish, says Tristan there. But that's the thing. I think both of these sides have a really good shot of winning this game. And it honestly depends on what Argentinian side we see show up, as well as, at the end of the day, what Irish team can show up here. Because last week, they were disappointed because it wasn't just a rough game. It was probably one of the worst games we have seen Ireland play in quite some time. But then it was their first game of the November International. So it's always going to take that a little bit longer to be able to adjust. But once they do, that is when this Irish side can be extremely dangerous. Argentina, though, they have always been the dark horse of the Rugby Championship, beating every single side throughout this year. But we have to wait and see if they can do it up against Ireland. We have got there, I hope you're feeling better. See the nose as explicit as last week. Go Argentina, says Sakabula there. And we have also got there a question mark from Craig, although I never saw Craig's question in the first place, I don't think. And the dark horse, says Derek. Do you have the benches, says Gus? We certainly do. Looking through at the benches for these two sides for Ireland, they have got Peter O'Mahony, a lot of experience in that department. They haven't got Ian Henderson like they had last week. But then also Ryan Beard gets that chance at 19 for the Argentinians. They've got Santiago Carreras as the number 22. Grondona is there, as well as Molina. So I feel like Argentina, they're in this position at the moment now. They're actually building a bit of a bench, and they are starting to put together a 23-man side, rather than in the past for Argentina, it's been about, you have your 15 in the starting lineup, and then when that bench makes their way onto the field, that's when it starts to go downhill. But that hasn't been the case for Argentina recently. They're really starting to pick it up nicely, so hopefully they can perform in this game. But looking through at what is coming up for these two sides, next week the Irish will be taking on Fiji, and then on the 1st of December, or the last day of November for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere, they will have the Australians. For France and Argentina, that will be a rematch of what we saw throughout the July internationals. There were some heated moments throughout those games, and it actually went 1-1. So perhaps it could be very close in November. But We are ready to go for the start of this contest very soon, ladies and gentlemen. We have just got the national anthems, then we will be straight into it. No, I'm English, says Neil. We have got there, some Irish are arrogant, majority aren't. Same for every nation, I guess. That is true. Like, at the end of the day, I feel like you can't base a whole rugby nation off just a few people who like to troll on social media. Like, and it's the same, like you said, for a lot of nations, they have got some people who break the chain for everyone. Whereas the shirt and tie standard slipping, says Andrew. I decided since it's only one game today that we might as well just wear the hoodie rather than the suit. But later on tonight for New Zealand versus France as well as South Africa versus England, we will have the suit on. And maybe even Fiji versus Spain happening before it as well. The Irish people are wonderful, says Derek there. Okay, there, be careful. Argentina beat New Zealand, Australia, and South Africa not long ago in this year. I think I win every team on their day. Exactly right. And they just have to make sure that that discipline is great from the start. We have the Argentina really shouldn't put a bench on the field. Someone could trip over it, says Grant. Welcome in, Grant. Hope you are doing well and you're excited for the weekend. Dress down Friday, says Eric. Something like that. If you're cool, really enjoy your commentary, says Andrew. I respect your opinions and know that not the entirety of Ireland is arrogant. I know South Africans can be just as bad. Says Tristan there, how amazing would it be for Argentina to win? Taking a game from each of the top teams would be amazing. Well, that's the thing. Like, they have beaten some brilliant sides over the last maybe 2 or so years. You know, they were close. Well, were they close to beating England? There were moments where it seemed like they could have in that World Cup group stage. But I feel like there are a few other sides that they still want to be able to tick off. Are you going to watch the big left hook later, says Zane? I mean, it's a weekend for combat sports, that is for sure. In fact, it's just a weekend for sport in general. And Tyson lost to Jake Paul. It hasn't happened yet, Zion. It's happening tonight. But we have to wait and see how it goes. I'm actually going to be playing cricket during that one, unless, of course, we lose early. So I think we'll have to bat first. Ireland, national anthem just about to take place. Or at least it was last week, and rather than Ireland's call. I think we got a combination, in fact. They beat France in July, says Jimbo. That is true. So they've taken down France. If they win this game, then that is, of course, a massive feather in the cap. And then I think it's just England in terms of about that top 6 or so that they haven't been able to beat in recent times. Are you playing cricket? We are indeed. Or it looks that way anyway. It absolutely poured down last night, but it looks like it should be dry enough to get out there on the field. And speaking of getting out there on the field for these two sides, quickly looking through at the starting lineups once again for the Irish, Andrew Porter, Kelleher and Bilham will be the front row. McCarthy and Ryan make up the midfield, well, sorry, not the midfield, but the locking duo, and Tyke Byrne, Josh Bannon-Flower and Caelan Doris as the loose forward trio. Jamison Gibson Park and Jack Crowley at 9 and 10. Henshaw and Ringrose, so only really the one change that we have seen for the Irish, and that involves Henshaw in that number 12 jersey. James Lowe out on one wing, Matt Hansen out on the other, and Hugo Keenan at number 15. For the Argentines, Gachon, Montoya and Scalavi as the front row. Petty and Rubiolo in the locking duo with Matera, Juan Matan Gonzalez and Jojuan Oviedo as the number 8 in this contest. Burhano and Albanoz, the 9-10 combo. Moroni and Sinti in the midfield with Dalgi, Isgro, and also Juan Cruz Malia at number 15. And Ireland got a few aging players now. Can they keep up? I think so. Like, at the end of the day, this is still the same Irish side, pretty much, that had that massive winning streak, with the exception of no Johnny Sexton. You know, other than that, it is a pretty similar side. We saw Joe McCarthy emerging onto the scene last year, and I feel like he can still really step up. Ringrose, says Derek. Yeah, so pretty much just those limited changes for the Irish. And that's one. Good afternoon, Hamish from sunny Mexico. Come on, Ireland, vamos, says Gavin. And there as well. And I'm South African in the way some of our fans have behaved online is shocking. Not a good example of most of us. It's that loud minority and they are terrible, says Michael. Yeah, I mean, I was in a Facebook group for like rugby fans and it got bad. Unfortunately, it's still like a group, but like, yeah, I've learned over the years that the less time you spend looking at like other social media, such as like the Instagram comments or anything like that, you know, it's a lot nicer. on the other side. We're missing Sheehan and Furlong terribly, says Jimbo. That is true. Not having those two in the front row has been a bit of a hit for the Irish. They're playing some very dramatic music before the start of this game. And yes, Gavin says Bergen, and also we have got there, do we know who is start? Says Jude, we are about to find out. The two sides just now making their way onto the field. Julio Montoya, he wants to step up as the captain and help his side get that next stage. Get off faceplant, and Insta says it was there from Derek, and people go nuts on social media. They do. They really do. Like, YouTube's not as bad, I don't think, in terms of, like, comments, but we still get a few, like, over a weekend. They're just talking about Sam Prendergast, that man off the bench for this game. Looks like Ireland will be the side with kickoff. There are some very bright yellow boots for one of the players in the background. Hamish Bundyaki injured. I'm not sure if he's... He might have picked up a little bit of something last week, but I think it's also a little bit strategic with when he'll be able to come back a little bit. Like, at the end of the day, they do want to rest some of their big players at certain times, but I think he might have just picked up a little bit of something in that last game from what I remember. I don't think it's anything too severe, though. Someone might be able to correct me if I'm completely wrong there. Yeah, let's go, says Jude there, but Jack Crowley will be the man to kick this one off, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Williams, the referee in charge. And we are now ready to go. Now we have good there. Big fan of these two nations against also Georgia and Italy. Love to see them do well. Could have said something really stupid, but hey, this is rugby, says Anthony. And there as well, but nicely taken by Argentina. They are currently inside of their 22. And Bertrano puts it back into the pocket too. Oh, tell you what, it's not the greatest start for Albanoz. His first kick has been charged down by Ireland. Only 10 metres out from their line now once again. Nothing wrong with a bit of banter as long as it doesn't involve xenophobic hate. Says 0. And what time the Mike Tyson fight? I believe it's 5 p.m. New Zealand time, so that'll be 6 a.m. for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere, or maybe even 5 a.m. Another partial charge down. And then it stopped the ball from going into touch. James Lowe running it sideways. Goes to Mac Hansen. Nice step from him. Offload to Josh Van Flair. And Ireland have shown up with a little bit of intensity here by the looks of it. Something that at times up against the All Blacks last week they did lack. But something that was very strong for them was that work in the breakdown, trying to disrupt New Zealand's game. And I feel they'll be able to do the exact same here up against Los Pumas. Mac Hansen with the wide cut out pass to Hugo Keenan. Tackled still on the 22-metre line. Gibson Park, and behind there, good hands from Ireland. Pablo Matera recently returning from a suspension that he received. Now Kelleher, short pop pass up to Robbie Henshaw. Now Gibson Park, skip pass out wide to Caelan Doris. Close to the touchline, almost goes out. It looks like there might be an injury here for an Irish player. The ball sits up for Isgro. Of course, he's got some great handling skills from the 7 side of things. Playing for the Los Pumas Sevens, but Pablo Matera, the ball in hand now for the Pumas. 40 metres from their line. Albanoz now looks to shift it. Little grubber in behind. Sits up for Ireland near the halfway line. Doris bumping off one tackle. And we have their try in there as well. You are once again here with the spoilers. Welcome in. Gibson Park. Back across to the right-hand side. Caelan Doris in behind, going now to Crowley. Skip past, loose ball. Picked up by Argentina. And a chance here. Great step in by Dalgay. Gets to, or through to defenders, I should say. And then it just sits up nicely for Matthias Maroni to score the try for Argentina. And that is not the start to the match that the Irish were after. In fact, it's far from the start that they would have been wanting. However, most of us can't even get a word in or try drown out the loud shouters. Anyways, enough of that. Keen to keep up with this one, says Michael. And there as well. Why watch the fight? The man is nearly 60, says Barry Powell. I mean, it is going to be, I know that you've probably heard people say this the whole way through, but it is going to be one of the biggest combat sports events of all time. So, like, everyone's, oh, yeah, no, that's a bit of a cheap shot on Crowley. He's actually hit him in the head, so this might be no try here. It is going to be ruled as foul play, and it is going to be going back, I believe. That's not good. Head on head. We're going to have to wait to see whether or not it is going to be a red card or just a yellow. So they are just determining that at the moment. definitely not the start in terms of the refereeing and the discipline of the Argentines that they would have been after here. And it is going to be a yellow card, says Paul Williams. They are just making sure they've got the right number. And oh no, says Cited. And have you guys seen the video of the jaguar that eats the Labrador? I have not, Derek, and it sounds like one that I would rather not see, as it just doesn't sound like a fun one to watch. And headbutt, says Jimbo. And yellow, it is going to be a yellow card. And now it's that question of whether or not it is going to be upgraded. But we'll have to wait to see what the TMO says. And I should mention the 20-minute red card, I believe, has been taken away, if I am correct. So that does mean that if he is going to be upgraded to a red, I think he'll be missing for the whole of the game, if I'm correct. I could be wrong there, though. But yeah, not ideal for the Argentines. And upgraded to a red, then 10-week ban with the way things are going in the rugby world, says Kerr. And did you see Cummins one, Kerr? How they gave him 2 weeks, and then they downgraded it to 50% because he's normally not the one who gives those type of cards. And that's because he still wasn't. It was Rory Darge who did the croc roll. But I think they just couldn't tell the Scottish players apart. So luckily he's only going to miss up against Portugal, and then he'll be back for the next game up against the Australians. But yeah, not the best work on World Rugby's part there. Not that I'm seeing it better. It's very clumsy from the Argentinian players. He's through north, and now Ireland getting close to the try line. Kelleher tries to stretch out, but he can't quite get there. Currently 3 minutes on the clock. And this has given Ireland a great chance to get an attack going from just out from Argentina's line. Now Gibson Park going off to the right hand, sidestepping through. And I believe it's Jack Crowley. Yes, it is, who has got himself the first try in this match. And Ireland go from conceding early to scoring now. And the Katie Taylor fight will be a far superior fight than that clown fight with Tyson, says Barry Power. Yes, even like boxing, I guess you could call them like boxing, the knowledgeable fans. I couldn't think of the word for it there, but like at the end of the day, they'll still have something to watch on that card, won't they? And it's free if you've got Netflix. So, I mean, they could have charged $50 for the pay-per-view, but they decided not to. And Crowley is suspect, says Derek. And Fix the Scoreboard mate says Neville, it is in the process of fixing itself. There was a big article about the blackmail of Blake and players admit guilt for reduced pushing players not to argue their case. I agree, system is broken and needs to change, says Kerr. Yeah, like for that one, the fact that he had to go, yep, it was me, because I want half as long, like it just seemed pretty brutal, really, for something that he didn't do. Has the 20-minute red card been taken away completely, or just in the Autumn Internationals? I believe it's just for the Autumn Internationals. They'll still probably have it for Super Rugby, I would assume, and a couple other competitions around the world. It's just whether or not they can bring it back for internationals later on. But it certainly does mix opinions in terms of that 20-minute red card rule. Some people like it, some people dislike it. And it normally depends on whether or not it's their team receiving the card, whether they like or hate it. We're 5 minutes in at the moment. Jameson gives them Park, going across to the right-hand side, and Ireland once again have got themselves another attacking chance here. Nice big fend from Robbie Henshaw, gets through one, but then is tackled in the second attempt. Continuing to make good meters here, and Crowley is toast, says Derek. I mean, he scored the first try of the match, though. 20-minute red card rule is a joke, says Barry there. Nice slow tackle made on Ty Byrne. Please leave it as a yellow, no red, says Marco. Now, loose ball. That was almost a mistake made again by the Pumas, but here comes the runner Ringrose. He will only be 15, in fact, less than that, maybe 10 metres out from the try line. Wide cutout pass from Gibson Park, inside ball to Matt Hansen. It is a second now for Ireland within 6 minutes. These cards all the time now. Best to cap it at 20 minutes if World Rugby want cards handed out like candy, as they do. Says Mark, Argentina does not have good defence. I can see this being a high-scoring game, or Argentina making it close. Not surprised, Jimbo. Did you watch Virgin Cup Sport clip from after last week? But now just 2 in a row for Ireland. It would be fair to give them a red card for that, but maybe they shouldn't, says True North. And this whole head contact thing is turning rugby players into soccer players. It's just ridiculous. In 100 years of rugby, No one has ever been killed by head contact, says Vitamin Green. Well, not directly from their head contact, though, but it does bring a lot of players who are past, like, playing their rugby, a lot of trouble. Like, and I can understand why World Rugby do it, because then they can be like, well, yes, you've got, like, CTE and whatnot, but at least we tried to make it that within the rules you should have been all right. You know, there's been a lot of rugby players in the past who have tried to sue World Rugby for not looking after them and allowing them to take repeated head contact. So, like, it's pretty much just to cover their own backsides when people start to say, oh, I got these from rugby, if that makes sense. And okay, I did well not to put the TV through the window. And Mr. Carp wasn't bad. He was pretty upright in the shot that he put on. Like, I would say it's probably about a 50% chance it's upgraded to a red. Somewhere around there. And South Africa, that means move. Says Derek. They should go play soccer then, says Vitamin Green. But yeah, if everyone who didn't want to get concussions and ruin their later life played soccer, there wouldn't be rugby teams. You know, like, yes, you can play for the passion, but eventually, you know, those head knocks catch up to you. And I feel like a lot of players go into it without knowing the outcome that can happen. Now sitting 25 metres out from the line, and Argentina will have themselves the attacking chance. Nice spin there. I do think, though, with the rules that there needs to be a little bit of common sense, though, in that regard. You know? Like, because if you get clothesline, yep, red card. But then if it's something that happens just in an instant and the player who gets hit in the head is fine, I feel like that should also be a factor that's considered. But that will be a knock on there from Argentina. Oh, sorry, from Ireland. And we have good there, you guys. Or you can't leave, guys. Keep busting heads. Play the game like you should, says Dennis. And they beat South Africa after conceding lots of points early in the game. They can still beat Ireland. Yes, player safety is important, but it is a contact sport. They cannot make it risk-free without destroying the sport. If rugby ran boxing, it would be illegal to throw punches above the chin, says Kerr there. Let people take the risk. They are acceptable, or they are accepting with it in their life, says Mark. If you play rugby, you deserve to hit your head, says Derek. Well, that's the thing. Like, that's why a lot of people in the lower levels of rugby, that's why grassroots rugby has died a little bit here in New Zealand, or at least in some regions. It's because, like, no one wants to go down as an 85 kg winger and then get hit by a 120 kg opposition player in the head who will only get a week's suspension and you get a concussion from it. Like, there's certain times in the lower levels, it's all well and good at this level because of the fact that they've got cameras and they will actually get penalised for it because the TMO see it. But in the lower levels, like, the amount of guys that unfortunately just suffer, like one of the other Kiwi lads, he took a head knock ages ago and it gets kind of problems from it. And that was from rugby. 9.5 minutes in at the moment, 12 points to nil for the Irish. I don't know where their conversion went, but it must not have gone over. There we go. Has moved. A malicious play should be punished in. Pretty much, yeah. If it's done with the intent of hurting the opposition, then I can see it being the red card. There are other situations, though, that it can be slightly unfortunate or just a mistiming. Gonzalo Berrano goes back across there. Big driving tackle on one. Matan Gonzalez, a two-man tackle. And Ireland managed to make the Pumas retreat a little bit, although now penalty advantage here. Berrano goes across. They are 22 metres from the line. And that's going to be the knock-on, so they will go back. We have got there, it's called player welfare. And can't you Southern people not understand? Youth level players are falling all over the world, says Barry Power. And we've got there, they're trying to stop heading of the ball in football at certain levels now. Right, they're going to take a shot at the posts in this case. This will be a chance for Argentina to get some sort of points after 10 or so minutes. We have got there, I shouldn't have been leading with his head then, says Vitamin Green. Yeah, the thing is, he probably did as much damage to himself as he did to the Irish player, didn't he? But, Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the outcome is, because I think there's only 1 minute 20 remaining of this yellow card, and it looks like he's warming up on the sideline, so should be able to return in this match. I'm looking forward to this game, says Slim Down Daddy is the name there. And poor performance from Argentina. Definitely not the start, but like someone mentioned, they were down up against South Africa and came back to get that win. And Blue says, Derek, when are you going to do school rugby? Says here, I assume you're talking South African schoolboy rugby. They don't actually show it here in New Zealand, unfortunately. So probably not anytime soon. Like, there's first 15 rugby here in New Zealand. But yeah, we haven't really decided to do any commentary for it, mainly because anyone who wants to watch it here in New Zealand can normally find it. We have got there, yellow as the card, says Jimbo, and player welfare, funnily enough, supported by a very, very small minority of players. An overwhelming majority of players feel the game has been ruined by the changes, says Kerr. Now that one's going to be kicked off again by Crowley. The score getting a little bit closer between these teams, but Argentina still trying to find their rhythm. They're about to be back to 15 men on the field. Ireland holding up the rolling maul, although it's off kickoff. So I don't think they can actually get the ball here. I believe it would pop out the back for Argentina. No, it's actually going to be the Irish. I always thought you weren't allowed to get a rolling maul off a kickoff. Or am I wrong in saying that? I'm sure that used to be a rule. Maybe that's just in the seven side of things, but I'm sure it used to be off a kickoff, you can't turn it into a rolling maul because of the fact that you can get under a player who's been lifted. So normally that would be Argentina's scrum for an unplayable, but in this case, they've gone the other way and given Ireland the ball. We have got there, do you know Brent Russell from South Africa many moons ago? I do not know. Can Argentina silence the Irish? Says Massive. It'll take a bit of work. A different refs might have been a different outcome. Refs are extremely inconsistent, says Lilia B. And to be honest, that is the same when it comes to the card decisions, isn't it? That's going to be the quick tap taken by Ireland. This is all something that may not have happened had we had the rule refereed in the way it normally is. But now Argentina have got the ball in hand after an Irish knock-on funny, seeing Kintipomi on the wing, or on the wrong bench. He was a superb Leinster player, says Jimbo. A kick downfield from Argentina, just central on the field. I'm watching Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson later on. Probably a replay of it just because of when I finish cricket. It'll probably be about 7 here in New Zealand, and that fight's taking place at 5. I can guarantee you, though, someone will spoil it for me before I get to watch it live, or at least a replay. Why aren't you in a jacket and tie tonight, Hamish, says Victor? We have just got the one game this morning, so I decided I'd be a little bit more comfortable for it. Nice running here from Ringrose. Currently 35 metres out from the line for the Irish. And behind again, Crowley, quick hands to Beerlam. The backline has looked a lot better in this game compared to what it did up against New Zealand so far. I owes you money on Tyson or Paul. It's a tricky one, isn't it? I feel like if it ends in the first round, it's probably Mike. But then other than that, I think Jake Paul, as much as it's going to annoy like the ones who absolutely love their boxing, it could just happen. Tyke Byrne running down the way. Oh, he slammed the ball down. The question is, did he have control of it when he did so? I cannot tell if he's happy or not. He kind of looks like he took a bit of a knock in the process of scoring that one. As a Springbok fan, I can't wait to watch France and the All Blacks. What about South Africa versus England, though? That'll be a big one as well. On-field decision is ruled as try. They will now check this to see if Byrne did get the grounding. Argentina will win Kiwi lads greeting from London, says Nix in there as well. And we have got their biggest issue with referees is accountability. Oh, does he get it down? Not really. Oh, unless from the other angle it shows his hand still on the ball. Okay, it's a clear knock on. And it's going to be no try there for Tyke Byrne. As George watching the fight says, Levi, he'd probably have to watch it from work if he does. Seeing as it's sunny here, he'll probably be out in a tractor till about probably midnight tonight, somewhere around there. And France versus the All Blacks, what time tomorrow, says Barry Power. So for us here in New Zealand, it's 9:10 a.m. So I think for some of you guys in the north, it's either 9:10 p.m. or for South Africans, it is 10:10 p.m. Now Argentina, it will be the goal line dropout. Nice bit of work from Argentina to be able to survive once again in another onslaught. It's on Netflix, says Levi. That is true, yes. Pay-per-view, not for this one, which is quite impressive because a lot of events, I mean, John Jones versus Stipe. Oh, that's a knee to the head. Speaking of John Jones versus Stipe, Kalen Doris has just given him the flying knee. Now that one's going to go downfield from the Pumas. Nice control from Argentina. In terms of the territory of this game, trying to force Ireland back as much as they can. And then look for those mistakes. 8, 10 p.m. Irish time, so green stuff. I'm sure you said 19 a.m. says Kerr. It's the Kiwi accent. It's strong at stages. I think it's stronger in the morning than it is at night time. Possibly. Now, Gibson Park kicks it high again. Waiting for this one to come down, and a lot of players last week were penalised for blocking. We didn't see that here, but we did see the knock-on from Ireland as they came through. Mac Hansen not quite able to hang on to it. It is going to be another scrum here. And 8:30 here up north, says Nix. And we have got there, don't watch the boxing, Hamish. Could be some head contact, says Blind Man. Yeah, I mean, that could be a good example of what a head knock can do to you. Definitely if you're a 58-year-old gentleman. Oh, hang on, we got the TMO looking at it again. Plenty of... Oh, croc roll on 3 green, I think that was. Or it might have been by... Oh, no, it's by 3 green. This is by Finlay Bilham. Right, so we're going to have to ask ourselves the questions. Is it worse than Scott Cummins last week? Oh, no, it's not. It's not as bad, but it looks like it has hurt the knee of Joel Scalavi, which is not ideal. He's been pulled to the side. See, that's the thing. That's worse than what Cummings did last week, but it won't be penalised as what Cummings did. I think at worst it's going to be a yellow card. Maybe Ireland can beat Pumas 30-plus points like the All Blacks did this year. Says Jack. Or maybe Argentina can beat the Irish just like the Pumas did to New Zealand as well. Twist and pull. It's going to be a yellow card now for Ireland. And that is Finlay Bilham, I should say. Who's going to go from the field. He looks like he's confused. Now we have got there is that it's not as bad. I did a shorts graze the gentleman's thigh, says Kerr. And Ireland is about to lose a pro. And that should be a red card. You cannot target the lower limbs, says Grant. I just went on Google and found out Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson is being cancelled, says Levi. Is it? I feel like you want me to look it up just so that you can kind of be like, ha, unlucky, but I mean, we'll probably just look at half-time, won't we? And I from Rainy Columbia, I reckon Ireland should win small margin, says Neil. And Neville stop gaslighting, says Nick's there. Argentina, once again, going to be opting to go for the 3 points, but already at this stage of the match, only 17 minutes in, we have seen a yellow card for both of these teams. Kicks at goal so far, 1 from 1, 44 meters out from the post. There could be a red, says Jimbo. If Scott Cummins won last week was a red, like, I think it's going to be a very interesting decision. I might get Paul at the weigh-in fight cancelled, says Jane. I don't think so. Like, unless there was some sort of extra oomph that happened with that one. Like, because Paul seemed to be all right from it. Cummins' ban was because he dropped his body weight on the lower limb. Wasn't actually a croc roll by Daj, says Kerr. Yeah, but the only reason that he dropped his body weight on a lower limb was because Jaden Hendrickson, in the replay, you can see he jumps from the wrong side of the breakdown to try not to get a not releasing penalty and pushes Cummins from behind onto the limb of Franco Mostert. So you're in that scenario how normally, you know, if you push your teammate into a guy and he does the big flip from landing awkwardly, like normally there isn't as much of a repercussion. So like it's an interesting one for the Cummins one. But yeah, the reason he fell over was because for one, Daj pulled the guy to the side, pulled Mostert away, and then also Hendrickse jumped from behind him. And like in the replay, you see Hendrickse flopping like a fish back over the breakdown. And we have got there the fact that the RG player grabbed his knee was a factor, or will factor, says one Pierre Bosch. Exactly, but Cummins should have avoided it apparently. Won't argue its case because it means a longer band. Now currently 18 minutes into this one, 40 metres out from the line, Ireland, all two-man tackle. Well, it's a penalty though for lifting the guy. You're on the field. And we have good evening, fellas. So Argentina have a few problems to deal with tonight, eh? Yeah, the two legs both going up at the same time there in the tackle of Caelan Doris. And scoreboard wrong, lad, says Barry. It is eventually finding itself getting updated. Still back on 17 minutes, I do see, but now kicking this one towards the corner for the Irish. So we're about 10 metres out from the line, if not a little bit closer. Oh no, it's 10.1 they've got as the exact distance to the try line. They calculate that very quickly. I'm mostly Irish, a little Welsh. Whatever, says Derek. 6 points difference between these two sides. I think this will be a great chance for Ireland to try and get that rolling maul going. It is normally extremely strong, though they do normally have Dan Sheehan at the back of it rather than Ronan Kelleher. That's going to be slapped away onto the side of the Irish. A partial knock on from Pablo Matera. In fact, it may not have even hit his hand, may have just come steamrolling through. Bit of a counter ruck from Argentina. Doesn't quite work out for them. James Ryan takes contact from Pedro Rubiolo. Across to McCarthy. Argentina, they've done well at times with their defence in this one. And now you know what you know. What is your updated score prediction says on the right? I think it's going to depend on what that yellow is, whether or not it is upgraded to the red. But I think Ireland have looked better on attack, but they still have had a lot of handling errors. That makes it a little bit tricky. We have got there 8-10. Oh, okay. Drop goal attempted by Crowley and it's gone over. Interesting tactic, but I mean, it works. 15 points to 6 now for Ireland. Didn't really expect to see a drop goal attempted this early on in the match, if we're being honest. And Power Corrupt says Derek Aviva Stadium. Oh, Thomas Gachot, he is going to go off for a head assessment. Now, that's because of the flying knee he got earlier on. And they've obviously realised he's not too flash after it, as normally you're not when you get a big knee to the side of the head. Only 21 minutes in. We've seen a lot of injuries, or at least a lot of moments in this game. Injuries, cards. Nigel Owens explains the Scottish red card clearly. Says Vincent there. And also we've got there, great drop goal, says Rhett. Can we get a time check? Seems like you are about 30 seconds ahead of me at least. Says Gus. And also we have got there, that drop goal was from way back. It was. So currently for myself, in terms of the time, it was 21:04 just then. But we'll just see whether or not... Okay, sorry. At the moment for time, it is 22 minutes on the dot. And there will be 4 minutes 30 remaining of that yellow card. That will remain as a yellow, I should mention, for Finlay Bilham. Now we are ready to see yet again another line out, this time for Argentina. Nigel is one of the best, says Nix. And also we have got there, thanks, says Gus, no worries at all. Looks like another player making his way onto the field this time. He's coming on for blood. Who's Julio Montoya? Where's the blood? It must be just above his eyebrow, I guess. 25 seconds ahead of Uslow, says Jimbo. Now getting ready to throw this one in. Ignacio Ruiz, his first chance. And it has gone relatively straight. Claimed by Guido Petty. Inside ball from Argentina. They just seem a little bit hesitant on attack at the moment in terms of some of that decision-making. Could be because Ireland, they are rushing up, and James Lowe in the breakdown has managed to get the steal there. It's a good match so far. Which stadium is your background name? It says Victor. It is the Aviva for this one. And Ireland is looking very good. Who have they got? Who's got them next? Fiji and then Australia are the next two games that they have got lined up. And Ireland is looking very good. Who has got them next? Oh no, I read that one just then, didn't I? I back that, says G-Man. Now, nicely claimed by Rodrigo Isgro under the high ball. Offloads to Bertrano on the halfway line. 23 minutes into the contest at the moment. Oh, and another knock on. Happen a little bit too often. What's better, Dunedin or Christchurch? Depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get on a cruise ship, probably easier in Dunedin, speaking from experience. But Christchurch is good. When we went to Christchurch, it was an interesting time. I think within the first few hours we were there, we went into a shop and the shop was being robbed. And then we left. And then we went down the street and someone was spitting on some windows. And then there was almost a punch-up about 2 hours later. So, like, Christchurch is nice if you go to the right areas. But if you don't, it's interesting. But, like, anywhere, Josh Brandon Flower has now been taken off the field here, ladies and gents. I think that was because of maybe a bit of head-on-head from before. An interesting time, says Derek. If we get there, this game will definitely have an effect on the rice price in Pakistan, says Martin Meyer. You think it will make it cheaper or more expensive, Martin? Ireland being incredibly well to disrupt the breakdown of Los Pumas. It must have been Benny Day, says Andrew. Yeah, it was certainly a unique one. Now going off to the right-hand side after the free kick at scrum time for the Irish. Andrew Porter in possession. He's going to get wrestled backwards by a few extra metres too. Gibson Park. Now looking for the cross kick. Crowley puts it high. And slapped back there by Matt Hansen. He struggled to get those ones clean under the high ball. Just for the start of this game. Gibson Park. Back across to the left-hand side of Joe McCarthy. And that'll be a penalty now for obstruction against the Irish. Argentina with another opportunity to work their way either an extra 3 or towards the corner. Didn't expect a game now, says Boat. An exciting time in the world of international rugby. Plenty of matches taking place nice and early. Why is Vinda Flower going off? I thought it was because of a head knock, but it didn't look like he was doing an HIA, so I think he's just a straight swap for some sort of injury. Ty could be man of the match at this rate. Says on the right. You buy Argentina, you used to be going somewhere, now you lost. Use your GPS. Says Neville there. Missing Choco Barres. Yeah, he's a massive hit for them in this one. Definitely because of what he was able to do throughout the Rugby Championship. For consistency, the rules have to be clear. It also means less ref discretion. So we have to choose between different refs giving different interpretations of the law and more consistent reffing, says Vincent. Now Albanoz to line up this one. It'll be about 43 metres out on the angle, so definitely kickable for him. And it has gone over, so that'll now make the score 15 points to 9. My concern here for Argentina is, yes, these are all well and good to keep them within a try, but eventually, you know, they're going to have to start going that little bit more aggressive, or else if Ireland score once, then all of a sudden Argentina need 3 penalties to get to that next stage of catching up. I support the All Blacks against France from Bok double world champs, says Farid. And not great, says Derek. And also, let's go Argentina, says Rugby Mad. As Ireland celebrating every turnover and penalty like last week. Doesn't look like it. I feel like they're a lot more stoic in the way that they're playing for this game. Now chasing after the high ball and beautifully taken by Hugo Keenan. Ireland back in position straight away off their own kickoff. Kelleher hit hard in the middle of the field. Gibson Park goes across to Tyke Byrne, who has had a busy start to this match. Now Jamison Gibson Park back across to the left-hand side again. Good shot coming in on him by the Argentine defensive line, but they cannot budge and allow the Irish through. Gibson Park changing direction, goes from left to now right. Finds Andrew Porter ready for the pick and go. Out wide, Robbie Henshaw manages to stay within the field of play. They are going to shift this one right now, the Irish. McCarthy, tackled by Joaquin Oviedo. But Argentina backline can score a try in a flash, says Jimbo. That is true when they give them that opportunity. But Ireland are a little bit the same, you know. They can't afford to be down by... Like, that's the thing. Anything more than a 2-try deficit for the Argentines, I just don't know if they can come back from. Now, going back across to the left-hand side. Oh, is that play on the 9? Yes, it is. From Rodrigo Isgro. We've got there from Kirsten Hamish. My fat wife doesn't want to shut up. Probably because you keep calling her your fat wife, Kirsten, I would think. Might make her slightly annoyed. Go the Pumas, says J.N. Ward. Henshaw with some immense carries already, says Rhett Short. Yeah, it's great to have him back in this Irish team. And like you said, he's been busy. He's been making some good meters. Definitely that one up the top side of the field, maybe about 15 minutes ago. That one's going to be kicked in a touch by Ireland. See, they have decided straight away to go for the 7 rather than the 3 in this situation. Josh Brennan-Flair actually back out on the field, so that is due to the... Oh, okay, that makes more sense. So Brennan-Flair was not an injury. It was actually because he had to go off so that they could bring on an extra prop for the scrums. So that makes a lot more sense. I was going to say, it didn't look like he had any sort of serious thing involving himself. But 5 meters out from the line, I should say. Ronan Kelleher. 6 points difference between these two sides. Argentina forcing them backwards at the moment in this rolling maul. They're being told to use it. And they still are not. But Gibson Park back across there. Nice run from Ringrose. It's tackling a little bit too upright there from Matthias Maroni. Got to be careful definitely with that yellow card that we already saw earlier on for Argentina. 7 meters from the line now. Porter gets a little bit closer. 10 minutes remaining in the first half of this game as well at the Aviva. But Tyg Byrne, another carry for him. Gibson Park goes across to Josh Brennan-Flair. Should be nice and fresh after having a bit of a spell off the field. Byrne again with a carry. Counter-up coming from Argentina, but they have lost their footing in the process. Gibson Park finds Crowley, who sells the dummy now, passes it a little bit wider, does the spin from Ringrose. Ireland will score try, says Padraig. They're aiming for it here. They're only a few metres out from the try line as well, but Caelan Doris. Oh, that might be a counter-ruck. Yes, it is. And Argentina have managed to turn over the ball. Now wrestled down only 2 metres out from their line. And Ireland line out seemed better this week, says Zero Connection. Yeah, I don't think Argentina are putting as much pressure on them in terms of that counter line out. So it'll probably help them build a little bit more confidence in that move. Definitely because, like, without Dan Sheehan, it is a very different line out for the Irish. Now Gonzalo Berrano, he will roll this ball back again and look to put it into touch, which he does manage to do. Right, I think they were just asking whether or not there was some sort of penalty that could have come from the breakdown. Paul Williams says it is fine. A pillow. Better they can make a feed, says Andrew. And very good defence. So Julio Montoya still getting strapped up from the blood bin earlier on. And stripped on the floor, says Jimbo, and Argentina will win. Rugby God, speak to me. Says Chitty Chitty Bang Bang now. Nice inside ball. James Lowe within a metre of the try line. And Gibson Park finding the right pass, gets it to McCarthy, and it's another try there for Ireland. I think that's their third now in this match, if I'm correct. Alongside a drop kick as well that we saw not that long ago. Crowd absolutely loving it at the Aviva. Only 8 minutes remaining in this first half, and perhaps another try could still be on the horizon for Ireland, but a second international try for Joe McCarthy in just 14 matches. And point of interest, Argentina theoretically can go third in the rankings tonight, theoretically anyway. That's the thing, like Argentina they've got a big tour for them because they've slowly continued to build, and then next week they've got France. So, like, if they were to beat France as well, like, that's pretty big. Now getting ready to take this kick, it will be Jack Crowley. Ooh, he hasn't got that one. It has stayed away to the side, so the score will remain at 20 points to 9. I don't think that kick went over anyway. They've actually given him the points. I swear that missed. Unless that was just me eyes playing tricks on me. And Ireland, together standing's all great anthem. There's Andrew now. And hence, theoretically, says Kerr in there as well. Yeah, so they have to have France lose to New Zealand, I assume. And then also, I guess, England have to lose to South Africa just to keep those two sides down. Is that including the French game, Kerr, or without it? Because if they can still then jump ahead of France as well, like, it's massive for the Argentines. Oh, his hands were on the ball. Well timed. That is great work from Julian Montoya. Jamison Gibson Park is not happy with it, but perfectly weighted for that one. No one protecting him. Come on, Argentina. I know just tonight, I mean, says Kerr. Was that obstruction by Doris, says Grant? Probably, but that's the thing. We see a lot of things checked, and then we see other things not checked. That is perfectly timed by Julio Montoya. Okay, so Kalen Doris was just trying to say, can you wait till he has the ball at the back before you tell him to use it? Paul Williams replied with just be quicker. Right, scrum feed, 22 points to 9. Yeah, so that kick must have gone over. It looked like he kind of shanked it away to the right for me, but maybe it was just the angle. Why is Paul Williams apologising to the Irish forward back? I assume he's saying that he got it wrong, but then in that case, surely they can change the decision? Can they not? Now, overhead though. Going back across to the right-hand side there. Oh, a big shot. And that one is going to be stolen by Ireland now. Just out from their own try line. Going to the left-hand side. James Lowe with his long left boot. It's come off the side of it. It doesn't get a huge amount of distance on that one. Look at there, come on, Los Pumas, says Sakeli there. Yeah, Josh Van den Fleur getting in there and getting his hands on the ball in the breakdown and just ripping it away. What was your pre-game prediction, Amish? Honestly, for this game, I didn't have one. I just couldn't decide. Like, on paper, you'd say that Argentina should win. Oh, sorry, Ireland should win, but Argentina, like, it all depended on how they were going to play and if they were going to turn up for this game, because sometimes, like we see it in the Rugby Championship, they do brilliantly, and then sometimes they just don't quite perform when they verse the northern sides. But in this case, like, they've got their 9 points. Of course, they wouldn't mind a few more, but, oh, player's just gone down in back play. I think he's all right. Yeah, Joel Scalavi just decided to get out of the way of that one. Here comes Thomas Garchot. But yeah, like, Ireland are the safe bet, but Argentina, a lot of people still feel they've got a decent chance. But in some cases, I think that's also just because people wanted to see Ireland lose, like, depending on the supporter that you talk to in terms of their prediction of Argentina. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one for them. Shout out my mum, Regina. Broke her arm watching here with me. How did she break her arm watching a YouTube stream? Like, did she fall off something, Shay? Hopefully she's all right. And we have good there, Barry Powell. What are they doing? And thanks for the awesome commentary once again, Hamish. Another advantage going the way of Argentina. That was for offside against Ireland. Well, one of the offload couldn't quite find it. Ireland good, says Rudolph. And thank you from Namibia. I hope Argentina win, says Herman Smith. a commentator of the Portugal versus Scotland game. We are not. More than likely at that time we will be doing Fiji versus Spain if it's being shown here in New Zealand. If not, then it will probably be a slightly later start with South Africa versus England. Anyone got any bets on? And how are your bets doing? Says on the right and fell outside the house going to get chips. Sounds very dangerous, Shay. Hopefully, well, is she she's broken her arm now. I assume someone's taken her to the hospital then if she's down. Oh, James Lowe. Got a good shot coming in. Oh, here we go. Time is off at the moment, so they are just making sure everyone is out of the way. As New Zealand game live, says Soraya. It is going to be live tomorrow at the same time that this game started, so 9:10 a.m. New Zealand time. They are just showing Bundy, our key there. Are you doing Wales versus Australia? That is the plan, yep. So tomorrow morning New Zealand time. In fact, while we're at it, while we've got time off, we might as well have a quick look at what is coming up. So these are all the games that are taking place. So for myself, I am hopefully going to be doing Spain versus Fiji. Alongside that, England versus South Africa, France versus New Zealand, and then Wales versus Australia. Those are the games that are slightly locked in at the moment. And then, yeah, we'll see whether or not we get a chance to do any of those other games that are also around. Bundyaki, big smile on his face at the moment, even though he's not on the field. He is still at the ground, thrown in by Argentina, and nicely claimed. Rolling maul chance here, Joe McCarthy trying to go over the top. And now breaking off the back, Julian Montoya. He's wrestled towards the touchline, but stays in the field of play. 2 minutes left in the first half. Imagine thinking Argentina beating Ireland, says Ted Bundy. Another week, but she stuck here at home. Not work, thanks for the shout out and concern, says Shay. Now sitting 5 metres, if not a little bit less, maybe about 2 or 3 metres from the try line. No advantage for Ireland being offside. They have to be careful here. It's repeat infringements just out from their own goal line. Could lead to a yellow. They are not careful. Now short ball goes across there, getting close to the try line, flattening out over, but he will be held up, so they will go back for that penalty, only a couple metres from the line. Wales on a terrible run of form. Don't look like winning any matches this year. So yeah, they've lost 10 in a row, which is a pretty rough one. Cheese and Sweetie, is it? Or Sweet? I think it's supposed to be Sweetie, but I don't think that's how you spell Sweetie, is it? Like balloons. Says Ireland win. Sub to Ted. Now that ball's going to be put into touch by Argentina. Still 5 metres from the try line and still a minute to work. But they have to make sure that they score now. If they want any chance of catching up, I would say if they can't get a try before the end of this first half, it's going to be tricky. What if this is a draw? Then the match will be drawn. But pretty much, like in terms of world rankings, it doesn't change too much for these sides. When it's South Africa's last rugby game, it will be next week up against Wales. And that'll be their last game that they have got. A lot of sides actually playing their last game next week. Same can be said about the Scottish. Same with, cross kick attempted by Elmanos. Same with New Zealand as well. Awkward bouncing ball. Oh, was he blocked there? It's a knock on in the in-goal area. This is going to be going back for another penalty advantage. And Paul Williams calls over the Irish captain now, Caelan Doris. Time is off. Okay, let's forget Wales. There's a game on here, says Vleshin. Okay, Caelan Doris. Paul Williams pretty much just warned him. He said, we've had 3 penalties down this side of the field. 2 of them are from yourself. So next one's going to the bin. It's just playing the arm from Tyg Byrne. From jumping across as well. Sounds like it is the other thing that Paul Williams has got him for. He's still talking, Tyg Byrne. He's not happy with the decision that has been given. Are we okay there? Let's forget Wales. Right, 5 metres out. Looks like Argentina are going to take on the quick tap, much to the crowd's excitement. Now passing it right across the Pablo Matera, and well handled by this Irish defensive line. Argentina, they don't look like they've got enough players on the field at the moment. There must be a few either way out on the wing or quite deep. Great run from Oviedo. Gets within a couple of metres there. Now around the side of the breakdown yet again. So the big men are starting to get a few more carries of the ball. Now with the pick and go again, it is Oviedo. Oh, it's a steal in the breakdown from Ireland. Now running this one forward, it is James Ryan, which means now if they want to, they can kick this one into touch. And they will do so. Half-time in this contest, 22 points to 9. Looking like already some tired players out there on the field. Hands on hip from Joe McCarthy. Okay, Caelan Doris just having a chat to the referee, trying to work out exactly what the penalties are for. But overall, a pretty entertaining first half. Argentina are yet to be able to pierce through this Irish defensive line. And big play by Ireland, says David there as well. Yeah, massive for them. Because at the end of the day, that was probably Argentina, I would say, their best chance of scoring in terms of the positioning on the field. Great passage of play, says Eric J there. And excellent defending against a huge pack, says Jimbo there as well. But yeah, just making sure that that ball was well and truly out. Was Jack Crowley much better this week by Ireland? Says Barry, and how do you think Argentina's playing? They're doing it all right. Like, there are certain parts of their game that they're actually doing very well. But I think that the lack of tries in that first 40 will be the concern because, you know, they're still within 2 converted tries, 13 points down, but you want to be a lot closer when you get to that 60-minute mark. Big opportunity missed by Argentina, says Grant, and suit, tie, and pants for tomorrow, says Scott David George. That is the plan, yep. Although not sure about pants. Like, pants, I'll just have whatever on for that bottom half. But yeah, it actually looked like both captains went over to the referee after the half was over. Caelan Doris having a chat, same with Julian Montoya. Yeah, but it's a shame Wales are having a bad run, all those penalties, and they get away with a steal. Rugby is brutal at times, says Fleshin, and Ireland won that half. They certainly did, and the points on the scoreboard say just that. 22 points to 9. 3 tries already for the Irish compared to the 0 that we've seen from Argentina. Not to say that Argentina haven't had their fair share of chances. It's just Ireland have been a much more clinical side out of the 2. But we'll wait for the second half now. Any links to watch it from the US? I don't think there's a huge amount of options, at least that are free for like the watching options. I know that Rugby Pass TV used to do some internationals. I'm not sure if they're doing these ones. Ireland are not letting them play their game, Hamish, says Barry. Professional fouls by Ireland at the end should be punished. Disappointing stuff. Rugby is not the winner, says Mark Casey. And yeah, like Ireland will be on their last warning now in terms of anything that they give away penalty-wise within the 10 metres of their own try line. I would think will now be a card. We've already seen 2 yellows in this game. One coming for Finley Bilham, one for the Argentinian centre. But, like, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it is policed for the second 40. Henshaw and Ringrose have cut off the wide ball very well, says Jimbo. Yeah, some of those forwards just getting in the breakdowns at the right times as well for Ireland. The likes of Josh Brandon Flower getting a very important steal near the end of the half. And Buller says for 30 in there. Welcome in. Hopefully I've said that correctly. For 30. Hopefully it's not a mile off. But yeah, pretty fast-paced first half between these two teams. A lot of ball and open play. But then also the occasional scrum did come in. Like, I think the handling from both teams hasn't quite been the level that they wanted it to be, but compared to last week, it is still a massive improvement for this Irish team. Hey, Hamish, how you doing? Just joined in, didn't know we had a match. I think the Pumas will get some points in the second half, says Mashihu in there. And of course, plenty more matches of rugby coming up, not just for these two sides, but also for the rugby world in general tomorrow morning New Zealand time. And I think that is actually going to be tomorrow night for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere, or early afternoon, depending on what game we're talking about. But Spain versus Fiji, I believe that one is the one we're possibly going to be commentating for. England versus South Africa, we are definitely doing, alongside France versus New Zealand. They will both be covered on the channel. And then Wales versus Australia on Monday morning, but that will be Sunday night in the Northern Hemisphere. There are a couple other interesting games taking place before that, though. England A versus the Australia XV. And then also Italy versus Georgia as another one to keep a bit of an eye on, I should say. But looking through at what is next for these two sides, next weekend, Ireland are going to be taking on the Fijians. France, they will be playing the Argentines. And then 1 week after that, we see Ireland versus Australia. So still some pretty big games coming up for the international window. Hopefully we do continue see some great games. I can't really talk today, I've noticed. Unfortunately, I've had quite a few stuttering mistakes on this live stream. That is all right. Hopefully it is better by tomorrow. Did a lot of talking yesterday, mainly in those previews that have been coming out on the channel. But yeah, second half still getting a lot closer. But in terms of what is happening next weekend, for anyone curious about those games, France will be playing Argentina, like I said, in that first opening game. Then from there, we see Spain versus USA, Ireland versus Fiji, Wales versus South Africa, Romania. They will be playing Uruguay as another contest that is taking place. Scotland A playing Chile. Also Italy versus New Zealand, Scotland versus Australia, Georgia versus Tonga, and England versus Japan. So plenty of games just around the corner. One moment, I'm about to sneeze. Here we go. Is that the last Irish game you're streaming? It says zero connection. Are you talking about the one up against Australia or the one next week up against Fiji? Zero connection. And surely if a high tackle was worthy of a yellow card, Crowley should be going off for the HIA. It is a weird one, isn't it? Because, yeah, like, there's been certain times that a player's taken a pretty substantial head knock and stayed out there, whereas other times, like, players don't look like they've taken a big hit and they go for an HIA, and then in the replay you realise it was actually foul play. So, yeah, it's a tricky one. Hey, Hamish, how you doing? Oh, no, I read that one, didn't I? And get Carreras on, says Session. And a lot of ball and open play, says Grant. And there, any cricket this weekend? I am going to be playing in about 2.5 hours' time. One moment, I'm about to sneeze again. We are good. But yeah, going to be playing in about 2.5 hours' time, hopefully, if it ends up staying fine. Like, it rained a lot yesterday, so the ground will still be a little bit wet, but it's windy out there at the moment, and the sun was out before, so it might dry it out enough for us to be able to play. There goes the Southern Hemisphere dominance. Says, okay, sneezing is good for you. Exactly right. Sometimes it's quite satisfying, but other times when you're doing a live stream, it's not ideal. And streaming live in the USA on Peacock. There you go. And don't fight it, says Derek. And what channel are you watching the match? Says Barry. I'm actually watching it on Sky Sport 1, but I was earlier on watching it on the TAB because it's a little bit further ahead. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a mix overall. I just watched, they're doing some kayaking or something. This is, I don't know what this sport is, but it seems extreme. It's in the Olympics, and it looks like some sort of like canoe slalom or something like that. Or however you say it. Those blokes are all rolling. What are they doing? But like, they all came flying down a very steep hill at the start. That guy's fighting with a pole. What is this sport? We might have to give it a look at some point. Mark Casey has become a channel member. Thank you very much, Mark. Greatly appreciated. Rugby is so gentle. It seems gentle compared to what these guys were doing. They were all almost whacking each other with their paddles at the start. It's part of the stream, says Derek. We have got there, your calls a riot from the Keyboard Warrior, says Kerno Wick in there as well. I have no idea what the sport is, but I can't stop watching it at the moment. They're flying around and they're trying to get around poles and whatnot. Whoever F. Butcher is, a New Zealander, he does this, what? I think the German just smacked the guy with his pedal after the race. I think he gave him a whack to the back of the head. And they're trying to infiltrate, says Derek. Have you seen hurling? I haven't actually watched a game of hurling. I feel like it's something that might be worth having a look at some point. Using halftime to pack. Only a few hours till flight time, says Kerr. So you're on because last week you were on a flight from Dubai somewhere, weren't you, Kerr? Whereabouts are you flying this week? Unless that is this week. Maybe I've got it around the wrong way. Rugby now resembles woke culture, says Nix. And there as well, Qatar to Texas. It sounds like a long flight. Yeah, whatever this one is, I think it's some sort of canoeing thing. And we look at their prediction for the Box versus England. I did predict the Box to win by 5, I think. I went 19-24 in their favour. I had a dream last night about the All Blacks versus France game. That was an interesting one. And I really hope what happened in the dream does not happen in the actual game, because let's just say the refereeing in that dream, it was not good. There were like 7 disallowed tries. 17 hours, so not the shortest flight. Says, well, hopefully you get looked after while you're on it. You get some sort of food. I'd like to think they'd supply you for a flight that long. And Fiji, my Fiji, says Mac there, hey mate, I hope you're doing well. Says Dwayne, doing very well. Hope you are. Also, I'm really keen for ABs versus France, says Session. And all these rules back in the day, they just smashed your heads in, says Nix. And more like a nightmare, that dream, says Dennis. Yeah, although Bowden Barrett had a good game in that dream. So, maybe, if it's possible, it would be ideal for New Zealand. It's very hard to tell, though, whether or not he's going to be able to step up in this game. Will Jordan, best player in the world, thoughts? I mean, he's good, but I don't know about best player in the whole world at the moment. Does he have the potential to be? Maybe. It just depends on what you look at as well. 7 disallowed, 7 conceded. Says okay there. And South Africa by 9. And hard luck for the Argies to miss out on a try before halftime. Well done, Ireland defence, says Marco. And there as well. Is it true that Ethan de Groot was last seen at the Cuba Petty mining town talking to the ghost of Keith Murdoch? No idea. I know he's really not in terms of selection at the moment in the running. Maybe next week they might give him the chance. He has a few meals, but likely just lie back, fall asleep for a good part of it. See, that's impressive. I can't sleep on a plane, but maybe I'm just not in a comfy enough seat to be able to actually sleep on a plane. Are you going to be doing the Tyson fight later on, Hamish? I am not. I'm going to be playing cricket during that one. So, yeah, depending on how early our cricket ends, depends on whether or not I will get to see what happens for that fight. But very intriguing. Same with John Jones versus Stipe. I saw the press conference and Dana White said the winner will definitely fight Tom Aspinall, and then John Jones took a sip of water as if to say, nah, not doing it. Better step the toy for me, matey, says Kerno Wick. And water canoe down a course, you need to, through poles, a white water canoe, and gates as they're called. And Qatar business class is quite possibly best in the world, very comfortable, says Kerr. Take some CBD to assist with sleep on a plane, says Mark. And South Africa by 1, and better Steph the toy, says okay there as well. But we must be getting pretty close to the second half of this contest, getting back underway, ladies and gents. Yeah, Peter Steph the toy is a fair shout, but I'm really high on Will Jordan train. I don't know what it is, says Sashin. But yeah, like the thing is, Will Jordan, he's already up there in terms of the top 6 try scorers of international rugby, and he's only played around 40 games or so. Ireland doing much better today. And we have got there Ireland still in first gear. We never lost at home to Argentina. Geez, so they certainly won't want that to happen tonight. I can't talk. I don't know why I can't talk. My tongue must be too big this morning or something. I hope Argentina come back second half. Got the ability to break every defence, says Mike. And like, that's the thing. Normally we do see Argentina being able to pierce the line. At the moment, the line for this game, like, it's anticipated that Argentina will lose this game by 20 points according to the New Zealand TAB. Not sure how I cope on a flight that long in economy, to be fair. Says Kerr, you probably want to be able to stretch your legs out. I feel like sitting for too long will just, hurt the legs. And which just shows you haven't felt the full force of the alphabet, says Derek. I missed the first half. Was it any good entertaining? There were some good moments throughout it. A few scrums that did happen along the way. But overall, I feel like Ireland, they took their chances when they got their opportunities, whereas Argentina are yet to do that just yet. And I feel like hopefully the second half they can improve on it just a little bit. Hope we don't win by much. Have a soft spot for them, lads, says Dennis. I was there an applause for a kick again. Says, okay. And go Argentina, says Vitamin. And there as well. There was a drop kick in that first half, though. Jack Crowley managed just to bang one over. I don't think many people anticipated that. What are the Irish going to complain about when Argentina get up and win? Says Real Talk with Jake. Probably exactly that. The fact that if they were up by 13 and then to go on to lose, I don't think they'd be too happy. I don't think any side really would be. ABs will win, Box will win by a similar margin, says Anthony. See, I went big and bold with my prediction. All Blacks versus France. I predicted New Zealand to win by 13. And I feel like that was a very bold call. It's happening in the game. It's still half-time. But they're just making their way back out onto the field now by the looks of it, out of the tunnels and getting ready to go for the second half. Can we see that drop goal again? Did it touch the ground, says Lee? Yeah, that was the big talking point of the South Africa-Ireland one, wasn't it? Right, we've kicked back off, though, for the second half. We are underway, ladies and gentlemen. We are now ready. Argentina in possession about 45 metres out from their own line. Henshaw is playing out of his socks right now, though. Yeah, it's great to see that he's come straight back into the side and done as well as he has. Bit of a loose ball there for Argentina. Pablo Matera gets a pass on the outside now to Thomas Albanoz. Be extremely handy with the ball in hand. 40 metres from Ireland's line and good physicality shown. Berrano. Back across to the right-hand side. France will win the match, Hamish. Is it in Paris? Says Barry. Yeah, I think it's at the Stade de France for that one. Oh, inside ball goes to absolutely no one. Juan Matan Gonzalez manages to clean up. I don't know why, but I got a little bit of a feeling that if New Zealand can actually gel early, their forward pack might be the better out of the two sides. Like, yes, France have Aldrit, and yes, they've got a couple of those young guys, Bodie and whatnot, but I just don't know. It's going to be a hard one to predict, but I do actually hope that it is a good game. I think everyone does. And the fact that we get that one straight after South Africa versus England, it's pretty much a throwback to that World Cup last year. England and South Africa for that semi, and then France versus New Zealand for that opening contest. A little bit of a counter-ruck coming there. 38 minutes remaining on the clock. Hamish is struggling to make good mouth today. I am. I don't know why. But just something about my mouth feels a bit weird. In a weird way. That one's going to be a lost ball. The knee was down. Then Ireland stripped the ball. So it is going to be now the penalty. Paul Williams standing very stern. James Ryan trying to tell him that it wasn't a penalty. But yeah, the knees are down and then he rips the ball away. So I don't know what he's complaining about. The ref did call it as a tackle. Watched a stand-up comedian last night. Easy woman in the 80s, all bush. 90s trim line, 2000 ball, 2023 cock. Says Nix. And I bet Fiji will beat Ireland, says Mac. Yeah, depending on how Fiji go up against Spain, they'll either come in as a massive underdog or they could be that little bit closer. And vamos los Pumas, says Rook. And there, that's going to be a knock-on from Ronan Keller. Was it not? Oh, no, it's a knock-on in the line-out against Argentina, they said. And Kelleher, he did not knock it on. Now Ireland kicking it downfield, advantage will be over and a good clearing kick. They don't decide to take that one quickly. Comedian says Viviani. Jack Crowley overall. He's had a pretty solid game as the number 10 in this one, working very nicely with Robbie Henshaw. Now, Julio Montoya getting ready to throw this ball and just goes to the front. Nice play from Los Pumas. And back across to the right. Oviedo, he's been busy in this game so far. 3 tries already coming for the Irish. I think Tamaiti Williams will eat. Well, that's the thing. He's going up against Tatafu, and I feel like if it was Yui Antonio, it might be a different story. But, like, I hope he does well, Williams, just because at the moment, don't get me wrong, like, he's been all right, but he hasn't really found a massive game as of yet for New Zealand. Also, Cody Taylor is back. That is true. And decent mix for New Zealand. A change in the loose forward trio. They've done that reshuffle. The one that I've been asking for a very long time. They've finally done it, but only because of injury. Great run here from Juan Matan Gonzalez. Great pace, great step. Gets through the whole of the Irish team. And that is an early try for Argentina. Exactly what they needed. The X factor from the back from Juan Cruz Malia. Just absolutely cut through them. Vamos Los Pumas. Says, okay, is Pollard playing tomorrow? He is. But just off the bench rather than in the starting lineup. A great short ball from Albanoz. 2 missed tackles from Ireland. Then a third coming from Mac Hansen, who got wrong-footed. James Lowe missed a little ankle tap. And Argentina, they are back in the game. Mac disappeared. Says Sashin, yeah, he just overcommitted to that run. 20 seconds remaining on the shot clock. There's a brilliant finish. And comedy tackling. And that one has gone over, making the score now 22 points to 16. Now, I mentioned at the end of the first half, they really needed something. And they finally got it. It's just in the second. Fantastic finish that. Says Grant, can't see Fiji versus Spain televised schedule. Probably because Spain don't want to show a cricket score because it's being played in Madrid. Says Stephen. Yeah, I never actually checked to see if it was going to be shown on New Zealand TV, that one. Because if it isn't, of course, we won't be able to cover it on the channel. But if it is being shown in New Zealand, then we are definitely going to be doing it. So while we're at it, we might as well just check. See what we can find. Ireland, Argentina, a replay of that game is going to be shown. I really hope that, like, okay, it's not being shown by the looks of it. So unless the TAB here in New Zealand are showing it, which I don't think they are. So, yeah, I don't think we'll be able to do that stream that I originally wanted to do. That was Prome Bodie-like. Says Jake Toa there. Rugby is a game of evasion. And also we get a nice good score after half-time. And Viva Los Pumas, says Waikato. And there as well. But, yeah, making this game a lot closer. Heading into the final 35 minutes. Hilarious, all the Irish fans counting out Argentina after 40 minutes. Says Sports Unfiltered. Yeah, they're still considered $4.60 underdogs here, Argentina. But Julio Montoya about to have that line-out throw. And evading the TMO, yes. Says Gertz, nicely thrown in. Argentina now, the line is 10.5. So that still means that a lot of betting agencies feel that they're going to lose by around that 11 margin. How's the Puma scrum? Overall, it's not doing too bad. I feel like scrums have actually been relatively even. We've only had a couple free kicks. I don't think anyone's got themselves a penalty from a scrum as of yet. But Josh Pennant-Flower with the pick and go. Already under advantage here for the Irish. Oh, the advantage is now over. Last week's game between Ireland and New Zealand showed bookies are clueless. Says Sports Unfiltered. Says Sports. I mean, that's the thing, though. If the bookies are clueless, then that's your opportunity to actually get paid, isn't it? But, yeah, last week, I mean, England were considered the favourites up against Australia, and they lost that game. I think that, I want to say there were 3 underdogs. Fiji were underdogs up against Wales. They won that game. Like, it just shows that, not so much that the bookies are clueless, but so much so that it's just unpredictable. What can happen in a world of rugby when you get 2 top 10 sides going at it? It's like any sport in the world. Every once in a while, something happens, and it can be a good day for someone. I love clueless bookies, says Kerr. How's Ireland's drop kicks? I mean, 100% at the moment. They got one over a little bit earlier on. Argie's better at evasion than invasion, says Eric J. And Aussie says, okay, Northern Hemisphere team equals favourite over the Southern Hemisphere bet for our Southern Hemisphere team. Says Sports Unfiltered. But once again, like, home field advantage is a big thing. And, like, the first round proved that even with that home field advantage, if you play poorly, you can lose a game. So, like, you can understand why they were favourites, because normally that sort of advantage does mean something. I mean, when we saw the Southern Hemisphere sides as the host nations, we saw on a majority of times that the Southern Hemisphere were favourites. Now going back in behind here to the left-hand side, nice stepping coming from Juan Cruz Malia. Across to the right. Paul Williams constantly hearing from his TMO as he is refereeing this one. The commentary that I've got at the moment actually doesn't have commentary. So it means that I can actually hear how often he's getting talked to. And this is going to be another offside warning for the Irish. They've already had many of these throughout the game. A ref just penalised Lowe for pushing an illegal blocker out of the way, says Jimbo. You never seen a poor bookies. They always make money, says Barry Power. Right. He goes to the bin. Someone for Ireland. It's Joe McCarthy. Will make his way from the field now with the yellow. The man advantage now in favour of Argentina. And Andy Farrell does not look happy. They've called for the shot at the posts. I'm not sure about that choice. You're up by a man. You're down by 6. Like, if you get yourself the 3 here, you're still down by 3. So then if you take another 3 later on, you're still only even. I feel like that's your chance to go for something here if you're Argentina. They have lost one of their locks, which means a rolling maul chance is a lot higher, as McCarthy is normally that one who goes in to try and get that turnover. Who created this red card 20-minute rule, says Nix. I couldn't tell you the name of the bloke, but it's certainly mixed with different opinions. That is for sure. Ireland has a scout missing for the Pumas this year. Now lining up this kick, Thomas Albanoz. Getting ready for this one. And he has got it over, so that will still mean that they are down by 3. Just wondering whether or not they'll come to regret that choice. And we'll have to wait and see. Of course, we can't tell now. We'll know in 29 minutes or so whether or not it was the right choice. Easy 3 though, Hamish. That is true. I just, I worry that Ireland, when you look through at this game so far and you see that Ireland have scored 3 tries compared to Argentina's 1, one more Irish try, and it means that Argentina didn't actually gain anything really from that 3. But it's points on the board, which is extremely important in a matchup. You want to stay close. Home teams may have been a bit of a shocker this year. Maybe it's home pressure. Irish fans quiet now, says Sports Unfiltered. If you're talking about the ones at the Aviva, it sounds like they're quite loud, but I assume you're talking like online maybe. Now it's going to be kicked down the middle of the field. Malia. We have good there who scored the Argentina try. Please, Hamish, missed it. Multitasking, watching Portugal versus Poland football and listening to you. So it was Juan Cruz Malia who managed to score that try. Kick a goal is the right choice. Let them kick the ball back to you and you go again. Although now Ireland, they had possession there for a little bit after their kickoff. Now, passing it into touch, I should say. How's your nerves doing? What is going on here, mate? And no, we're not quite, mate, says Dennis. It's because Northern Hemisphere team overrated, says Sports Unfiltered. Someone's obviously hurt you in your life, haven't they, Sports Unfiltered? Whether it was a Northern Hemisphere fan or something, they've said something that's really struck your nerve, I can see. So the question is, which nation was it that really annoyed you? Currently 28 minutes remaining in this one. Argentina on the halfway line. The rolling maul. That looked like a bit of a cheap shot on the side of the Irish player's head as Argentina joined the rolling maul. 27 minutes can be a long time. Anything can happen. Let's go Argentina, says Petrus. And Vamos Pumas, says Sakabola. Kick downfield. Ireland, great take under the eyeball from Mac Hansen. Loses his footing. I'm Irish. I'm just talking the truth. My people embarrass me, says Sports Unfiltered. Is there another yellow? There certainly is. Joe McCarthy this time was the man sent from the field. Now Gibson Park going for the box kick from inside of his 22, up and under. That was almost a tackle in the air from Jack Crowley. He looks over to the referee, and that is normally a clear indicator that he feels he did something wrong. Tackled in the air, and they will go back now for the penalty. Opportunity for another 3, although from the position on the field, I think that this is where you're better off kicking towards the touchline. Honestly, Jimbo, I don't get it, making life harder than it needs to be, so frustrating. Says Kerr. Sorry, they just scored again. Portugal 4-0. Decent scoreline. And that one's going to be put into touch by the Pumas. Come on, Argentina, says Nkabi. That's the thing, like Argentina, they're well and truly up on the penalty count. 10 penalties against the Irish compared to the 3 of Argentina. So, as long as they keep their discipline, it might be the case if we see another Irish player go to the bin, then you're playing 13 and can really crank it up. Probably New Zealanders' feelings are deeply hurt, says Nazim. We're playing cricket today. We've got a home game, so quite good in that regard. Hopefully the weather does stay nice for it. Oh, around the side of the breakdown, Pablo Matera hit hard, and that ball loose, picked up very nicely by, I believe that is the replacement 21, Garcia. Score himself a try in the Rugby Championship. I thought it was rugby, says Rugby Mad. Now, all back into the pocket. Drop goal here from Argentina. And it misses. We'll see how this game ends. But I just don't know if Argentina are doing themselves any favours at the moment. Like, I just wonder whether or not they're too defensively minded. You know? Like, I get why they're trying it. It looked like a good chance for 3. I just wonder, could there have been a try in that case? Possession last 10 minutes, 73% for the Argentines. But wait and see whether it backfires for them. So there is an injury here for Pablo Matera. Bad decision with the drop goal. Have you fully recovered from your injury? I have not, no. So more than likely, the first time I try and sprint today, I'll probably injure it worse than last week. Oh, nicely charged down by the Irish and slapped back onto their side here. Josh Van den Flair. Ireland discipline has been poor. Unnecessary penalties. Evanors, bro, I just lost my house, says Session. The Irish crowd singing loud and proud for their side. Van den Flair on the halfway line. 56 minutes into this game, and there is still plenty that can happen. Gibson Park. Back to Jack Crowley, who was in the pocket. Puts another kick high. Chasing this one, Argentina, and Albanoz takes the mark inside of the Pumas 22. Argentina looking good, says Tyrone. That was made of straw, says Eric J. And Pumas overestimate Ireland, says Gus. Yeah, packed out Aviva Stadium for this match. That one's gone into touch. And now Ireland have got themselves the line-out chance. Albanoz not happy with that kick. He knows that this one now will lead to the attacking chance for the Irish. And they'll be more than happy to have this ball in hand. At the end of the day, like 23 minutes remaining in this game, but 3 minutes is the more important number at the moment. Because the moment, that is until their yellow card ends. Once again, sentences are very hard. Sprinting in cricket, says Barry. Yeah, it does exist sometimes. You got to move around relatively quickly. I'm not quick anyway, though. I want to see Hamish the newborn giraffe sprint. It's honestly, it's very funny to watch because I just can't get my legs underneath me. Like last week or the week prior, actually, I almost fell over about 4 times trying to run. Like the legs just aren't built for running, unfortunately. Oh, good shot coming in. Argentina haven't taken advantage. Every time Ireland go a man down. Says Nkabi there, loose ball picked up nicely by the Irish. James Lowe, loose ball, picked up now, loose ball again. A lot of loose balls in the last little while, and I think they're going right back for the first knock-on. Have there been much knock-ons in this game? Quite a few, definitely just in that little play. We saw about 4 in a row. Ireland need to press forward now and keep the ball, says John. Yeah, like I said, like they won't mind if Argentina want to give them possession and let them hang on to this one for a little bit longer, because then they'll be back to 15. You're not to be drunk playing cricket match, mate, I should say, says Dennis. Yeah, I can't read and I can't speak very well today for some reason. I've seen 149 tackles made by the Irish, 122 made by Argentina, hence you played cricket, Hamish, says Barry Power. And there as well, yeah, like you wouldn't see me sprinting around on a rugby field. That would end very badly. I'd injure myself more than the opposition would injure me. What time in New Zealand? Currently 10:35 a.m. And 13 from the Pumas has been so bad. He's lost ball pretty much every carry he's had. Says Rhett, to make those balls and sixes, there's no need to run, but you may struggle fielding. Yeah, I really do struggle fielding. I think I'll be wicket keeping today, just because I don't think, oh no, we might have a wicket keeper. If we're lucky, I might not have to be. Then I'm more dangerous in the field because I end up injuring myself. I'm pretty good at that. How much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? See, how could I do that, but I can't do just a normal sentence? Like, what is going on? You need to fix the clock over there, says Dennis. I got my girl from Iceland. She just drunk called me. Should I call her back? What's she doing in Iceland? That one's going to go into touch. Only 24 seconds remaining now. 13. Usually Carreras' big drop. Says Jimbo. And come on, the Boomers, says Chris. And they are becoming bigger underdogs as Ireland start to find their momentum a little bit. Brain malfunctioning. What are the odds favouring? At the moment, the odds are Argentina $4.60 and Ireland $1.15. So pretty heavily in favour of the Irish here. But the line has got a lot closer. Only a line of minus 6.5 at the moment, which pretty much means that they feel like Ireland will win this game by within 7. And does the ref not do the offside line for the RG, says John? I mean, that's the thing. Offsides, I don't think have been really called that often, other than when they're about 10 metres out from the line for any team at the moment over the last little while. That's worth 1K on Arch, says Kerr. I sadly do not have 1K to chuck on the Argentinians. I could chuck $1 on them and gamble responsibly, of course, ladies and gents. Joe McCarthy now making his way back out onto the field. Iceland is an amazing place to party, in fact, Hamish. Says Barry, may the best team win. I've backed Ireland. And good return if you put money on the RGs. Ain't a bad bet. Yeah, I just don't have money to put on them, sadly. But Garcia back into the pocket here. And kick downfield. Nicely taken by James Lowe, who will run this one forward. Sold a very early dummy that I don't think anyone fell for. I've got 10K on the ABs, taking next World Cup, says Kerr. And Kyron says, hi, welcome, and hope you are doing extremely well. It's a good way of, I guess, keeping your money locked in somewhere, isn't it? Now Gibson Park. Cross to James Ryan. 19 minutes remaining in this one. And Argentina has so much heart, says Nemi. And, it's a drop ball again here from the Irish. So they'll go back for yet again another scrum in this one. Carreras went to Maurewa High School, class of 2012. When I last saw the score, it was 22-9. Yeah, half-time. We've seen 10 points for Argentina and 0 as of yet for the Irish. Sam Prendergast about to make his way onto the field. The youngster, he will replace Jack Crowley. I've got money on Ireland so far. The soccer team hasn't disappointed. Now the rugby team needs to win too. Then all that will be left for me is Mike Tyson to win, says Impilo there. Is that for like a multi that you've got? You're pretty brave having that Tyson-Paul fight as the last leg of your multi if it is. Just no one quite knows what's going to happen for that one. Not after the Sky subscription. That's why I am here. You're doing a great job. I appreciate it, says Ords, as a multi. Right. Well, it's either going to go very well or very not well for you, unfortunately. Quite a few changes. Ryan Beard also made his way onto the field. Jamie Osborne on for Henshaw. That's a big sub to make, seeing as Henshaw has been, I would say, the pick of the backs for Ireland. Tyson a knockout ball in the second round. Says Chris. Sam is on the new sensation. And also here it comes. Says, did Argentina get 2 tries or 1 try and a penalty? So they have got 1 try and 4 penalties throughout this game. And Leinster on, says Jimbo. And a draw, says Rob. Is that for this game or the Tyson Paul fight? I assume a draw for this one. Now scrum feed. They put the ball in. The penalty is going in favour of the Pumas. I called my ex-back who hurt me from Iceland. Said it was an accident. Oh, a little bit of push and shove there out on the field now between these two sides. Wait, so it's your ex-girlfriend rather than your girlfriend. Where was the comment earlier on was I got hurt by a girl from Iceland. She just drunk called me. Shall I call her back? Oh, okay, so she's your ex-girlfriend from Iceland. You're looking very handsome this morning, sir, says Neil Smith. Hello, Neil. I think you're the right Neil Smith that I do know of. So I should mention the hats have arrived, the new ones. I might have to get you one as well. People will be very confused at what that statement means, but they should be able to work out what a hat is. Yeah. Cricket today, very exciting stuff. 17 minutes remaining though. In this one, 3 points difference between the two sides. Drunk Friday night, says Chris. What is the score? The score is 22 points to 19. Iceland is green, yet Greenland is full of ice. That hurts my brain, Ords. That's a fair point. Another penalty for the Argies. And hello from New Mexico, says John, welcome in. What's the time in New Mexico at the moment, John? I normally get my time zones wrong, but I'm going to say it's like 4 p.m., 6 p.m., somewhere around there maybe. Could be wrong. It's going to be nicely done by Argentina to retain the ball 40 metres out from the line. Nice spin there and another knock on. Unfortunately in this one, so we are going to go back for yet again another scrum. Who are you playing cricket against today and where? Says Neil. So it is going to be a home game and it's up against Roncalli. So they're pretty decent for the thirds. But that's because second grade got knocked out of the comp for T20. So I'm going to be playing in third grade today. I wouldn't recommend taking steroids before watching anything. I guess that's probably some sound advice. Score right now, says Cheese Cube. At the moment, 64 minutes in, 22 points in 19. Looks like Thomas Albanoz has a little bit of an injury, nearly 3 p.m., mate. Okay, so I'm getting closer to my New Mexico time zone. I still get it very wrong, though, a lot of the time. Los Pumas, now to score a try, come on. I would be very interested to see what Argentina do if they've got an opportunity straight in front of the posts, whether they take the 3 and get it to a draw or whether they go risky. I think they'd take the 3. What about Viagra? What, before a big game? I'm probably not a doctor. I can't really give advice on that. And make it an even bigger game, I would think, though, once you're in it. Argentina need to back themselves. It's one of the reasons Southern Hemisphere teams are winning last week. And best of luck today. Play well. If it's live scored, I'll keep an eye on the scores. Says Neil there. So yeah, we'll be starting in just over 2 hours' time. So hopefully we've got some sort of scoring going. Are you a batsman or a bowler? I am more of a batsman than a bowler, just because my bowling's very much 50-50 of whether or not it's going to be any good. Like, I might get to bowl today. I think I'm supposed to be captain today, so I'll bowl myself, as you do. Normally I only give myself 1 over near the end of the game. What is this game doing? Being on at 11:43. Yeah, it's a late night one for some of you guys in the north. It's slightly earlier in Ireland. It's currently 9:44, but even so, that's quite a late finish for a game of rugby. Another advantage going the way of the Irish at scrum time. You strike me as a spin bowler. You are 100% correct. A bit of leg spin, bit of off spin as well. Jones or Miocic. Well, that's the thing, right? They're both looking to retire. More than likely. So, like, I don't want to sound like a hater, but if Miocic wins, there's still a chance that he fights Aspinall. But John Jones has made it very clear he has no interest in that fight. So, for the sake of, like, the division, you kind of want to see Miocic so that you actually get to see the interim champ versus the champ, rather than just interim upgraded to the champ, if that makes sense. Your batsman or bowler sounds like a question about something else, coming from a non-cricket country. I guess it could be taken in that way. Couldn't it? James Loder scored the last try. Now Ireland have got themselves another line out. Jamison Gibson Park goes back across to the right. Crashing run from Jamie Osborne, who only recently made his way onto the field. This is looking good for Ireland. On hot attack, the Pumas are scrambling. Prendergast gets the pass to Lowe. I think he's just thrown that one forward. Any chance you're doing the boxing? Irish girl Katie Taylor fighting in the morning Irish time. Says Dennis. So I will be playing cricket during that Mike Tyson, Jake Paul card. But I'll keep an eye on it more than likely, just to see how it goes. Right, lost control of the ball, and then he's kicked it. So it will count as a knock-on. And got to admire Argentina. Yeah, they're a lot closer in this game than some people probably gave them credit for. 14 minutes left in this matchup now. And, you know, there's still a chance for both of these sides. Cian Healy makes his way on, though, an experienced veteran of the game. Speaking of experienced veterans, Irish great there, clapping for him in the stands. And a massive round of applause coming in for Cian Healy for this game. She's commentating on Cricket Amish. I have done some cricket in the past. We've done a few test matches. We normally do the Ashes on the channel. Don't normally do World Cups, because last time we did one, we got a copyright strike by another YouTube channel who wanted everyone to watch theirs. So we kind of strayed away from cricket just because we couldn't afford to have a copyright strike for multiple weeks in a row. As we missed a lot of rugby internationals during that time, and a lot of people got annoyed. Argentina is 5th in the world rankings. Aspinall will take out John Jones if he ever gets the chance. I don't think he's ever going to get the chance, though. Like, Dana will try and give John Jones a massive amount of money, and Jones will still say, it doesn't increase my legacy fighting him. Like, the last time he talked about Aspinall, he was like, he's going to be a flash in the pan and no one cares about him in 2 years' time. So, you know, it's a tricky one. That's why I feel like Miocic, a lot of people want to see him win so that we actually get to see the heavyweight division continue. But Hugo Keenan now thought about going for that next pass, and there is another advantage in favour of Ireland. They could take 3 if they wanted. I imagine Hawaiian shirt, neon lights, fruity drink with an umbrella and 80s pop music. So tell him, are you a batsman, pause for effect, or a bowler? Says Kerr. Hamish can't have a long run up for his bowling. He's got 2 left legs and his knees bend in the different directions. Yeah. I feel like a longer run up would just injure me more than anything else. Now Paul Williams, 12 minutes left. Every decision he makes now could impact the outcome of this game. The Irish have decided that they want to kick for the corny here, though. They have gone aggressive, something we haven't seen from Argentina in this game. Oh no, sorry, they haven't gone for the lineup. They've gone even safer and gone for the quick tap. Now Joe McCarthy, they've set themselves up for a standing rolling maul, something that you don't see too often. Jamison Gibson Park, 5 metres out from the line. It's still marching just that little bit further forward. The knee was down from Healy, or in fact it was the replacement. Number 16, 5 metres from the line. I'm back across to this left-hand side for the Irish yet again. Pick and go from Peter O'Mahony. They scored now. I would say that Ireland will win this game, but Argentina need to defend like this game completely depends on it. Jamison Gibson Park. Across to Josh Van den Flair. Good early defence here from Argentina, but they will have to defend for more than 10 or so phases in a row. If they want to keep this Irish side out, they have to wait for the era to come from Ireland, and the last thing they can do is give it away an offside advantage. Now 12 metres out from the line. That ball's going to be loose. Gibson Park manages to regather it. James Lowe, big shot on him in the midsection. Another big run from Byrne. We're up to 10 phases in a row now. Argentina are yet to get themselves offside, but all it takes is one bad decision from a forward normally, and they could find themselves defending for a lot longer. Ticking down to only 10 minutes left. James Lowe. Low tackle made on him by Santiago Herreras. It's phase after phase at the moment. 13 phases, and Sam Prendergast with a short ball going to Rob Herring. Gibson Park looks to the left. Sets it again for Caelan Doris. The Irish skipper numbers now to the left-hand side. Sam Prendergast sells the dummy, gets through one, but cannot get through Albanos. A little bit of a counter-ruck coming from Argentina, and they have managed to turn this ball over. That'll be frustrating for the Irish. Argentina now looking back into the pocket, or at least they should be, just setting it with their forwards. Then kick this one downfield. Been told to use it again here. Garcia kicks it himself and does not find touch with it. Play will continue. Hugo Keenan goes across to Mac Hansen, who straightens and tries to go straight through a gap. He's tackled 30 out. Haven't had too many stoppages in just this last little bit of play, so this will be tiring out some players. Oh, I thought it was going to be a drop kick attempt, but instead it's an up and under from the Irish. A bit of a different tactic, and Albanos takes it under the high ball. You must try commentator with the crowd making noise, says Nazim. I mean, we could, although at the same time, I feel like if we had any sort of crowd noise, then that gives the rugby, broadcasters, they'll think, oh, that's actually the crowd noise from the game. So, you don't want to give them any chance of thinking that you're actually showing or playing match footage, or else they just take you straight down without asking. That one's going to be kicked in a touch by Argentina. And we have got there great defence by the RGC's Grant. Albanos so far throughout this game, he's had 2 tackle breaks. He's had the assist to the try from Juan Cruz Malia. Looks like some more changes are about to be made by the Argentines. But 8 minutes remaining in this one. 22 points to 19 is still the score. Rob Herrig with another throw. And not taking that penalty, a goal might come back to haunt the Irish, says Willem. But it is that aggressive mindset of going, we can score one more try. They've already scored 3. Nice cut-out pass there to Mac Hansen. I think Argentina's decision of not going for a try when Ireland were down to 14, the same could be said about that. It might come back to bite them here. Nice run from Jamie Osborne. 20 metres out now. But over the ball, and the penalty goes the way of Argentina again here. The most Argentina young players go to New Zealand for their 10 years in Auckland. It's helped them so much. Their sport's unfiltered, and well done, Argies. The Irish have been in their 22 heaps to keep the score so close. Nice attack and run from Jamie Osborne. This has been a long 8 minutes. Hamish is announcing now your full-time job. It is not, no. Just for the weekends. 7 minutes left. This one, Argentina will once again kick this one towards the touchline. Hey, Hamish, how you been, bro? I've been a while since I've dropped in for your live feeds. Says Junior Ryder, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. And yeah, it's been a big while. Super Rugby, maybe. I think might have been the last time. Might have been in the Rugby Championship, possibly, but I think it was Super Rugby, if I'm correct, Junior Ryder. So it's great to see you back. Are we going to have a dramatic last few minutes? I think so. Casey makes his way onto the field. That is for Jameson Gibson Park. Now 6 minutes remaining on the clock. Come on, Ireland, says Davo. And thanks, mate, for the coverage. We appreciate you, says Sonwabili. Thank you very much. And we are going to be back for a few more games taking place over the weekend. South Africa versus England, as well as New Zealand versus France. Those next two that will be taking place. That the maul has come down 40 metres out from the line. They've been told to use it. They need to get that ball out. And Juan Martin Gonzalez does abide. Ireland now, they know that this is a very important patch in the game. They need a turnover. They can't allow Argentina to find their momentum. Who has possession currently? Argentina have got the ball 40 metres out from the Irish line. They are 15 metres from the sideline. Looks like they're going for the up and under as well here, Argentina. This is an interesting tactic from both sides, and that one's going to be knocked back by Argentina, but into the hands of the Irish. Oh, but they will go back for an original penalty that there wasn't one, or there wasn't an advantage for, I don't believe. Okay, worth checking, a TMO decision has come into it, ladies and gentlemen. Unless things change, Six Nations this year is going to be boring to watch. Says Kerr, and Boomers can push any team these days. And Rugby Championship is strong this year, says Cool Story Bro. What do they do with the penalty? So this one, dangerous clean out by 18. Oh, hang on. 18 blue. That is Francisco Gomez Cordella. This is a big decision, but it's dangerous, as they say. Oh, yep, straight into the head of Kalen Norris. It's going to be a yellow card and an on-field review now. A really dumb play from the big prop has now got his team penalised and down to 14 for the rest of this game. Come on, Argentina. Reckless, says Barry. Yeah, it's just something that didn't have to take place. They already had the ball. The new World Rugby chairman better make some new changes to make the game better. Says Junior Ryder. No man Argentina, says Suckabulla there. But now 5 minutes left on the clock. Now we have got the Pity Irish player making a nuisance of himself and gets cleaned in the head, says Rhett. And who got a sin bin, number 18, Francisco Gomez Cordella for the Argentines. Darn it, that's the game Argentina robbed, says Chris. And straight red, says Jimbo. Yeah, either way, he won't be returning for the rest of this game. Oh man, too aggressive there, says Cited. And Six Nations is never boring, says Yesterday. And yellow card, no. And not good, says Cited. Now, Prendergast kicks it towards the touchline. Argentina are now considered $8.50 underdogs, ladies and gents. So that is how much they were before they managed to get themselves, I believe, that try. And that is so dumb, says Grant. I mean, I don't want to say it, but props aren't normally known for their brilliant IQs at times. And it was just a really dumb play, unfortunately, for Francisco Gomez Cordella, which now gives Irish side the box seat. Throwing it in, nicely claimed from Kalen Norris. Someone give that bloke a gold medal, says Jake Toa. Now they are 22 metres out from the line. Going off to the left-hand side, little skip pass there from the Irish out to James Lowe, who breaks through one, gets the offload to Keenan. I've been told not to get their hands in there, Argentina. And Argentina has only 4 minutes left. And critical time of the game. And he does that now, passing out. Dropping the head and running is Gary Ringrose. Argentina counter ruck. Not allowed to go for it. Knocked backwards by Ireland again. Joe McCarthy hits it up. Only 3 minutes left on the clock now. Now Ireland will win it, says Cited. Now inside ball again to Matt Canson, who tried to get up and go again. He was held well. Ooh, diving over the middle of the breakdown. Was there a knock on there? Argentina trying to get the turnover, but they can't do it. There's going to be some relentlessness from this Argentine forward pack. What time does the All Blacks France game kick off? It will be 9:10 a.m. New Zealand time on Sunday morning. Apparently World Rugby will be looking at the 8 subs law, says Kerr. And game is over for Argentina, says Dwayne. Currently 15 metres out from the line, straight in front of the posts. Another low tackle made by Joaquin Oviedo. Pick and go from Josh Van den Flair. Ireland not able to get it back. Argentina still not able to get the ball. Great low tackle made on Hugo Keenan. That looked like a dodgy clean out from Jamie Osborne, but play on just for now. Ireland well done to hold on, says Kerr. And just 2 minutes remaining now. Matt Hansen gets through a tackle. They are still scrambling here, the Argentines. But the last thing they can do is commit too many men to a breakdown that then allows the Irish a gap. Trying to roll out of there was one Cruz Malia, and he's done just that. Joe McCarthy now up to 18 phases in a row here for the Irish. In Argentina, they're on the wrong end of the field. Crowd chanting for Ireland. Oviedo wins the penalty for Los Pumas, and they have still got one last chance in this one. Casual day, is it? Says Roderick Smith. It is indeed. Although later on we will, of course, have the tie and whatnot. But 90 seconds left. 3 points difference between these two sides. Pick and go, yawn. Says Sports Unfiltered. You wonder whether or not in that case maybe they should have considered going for a couple more backline moves and try and really put the icing on the cake. But I think they were hoping that Argentina's discipline would let them down. The Pumas not getting it wrong that time. It's a very good game, says Jared. And Ireland, so one-dimensional attack. Oh, hang on. What are we doing here? This might be for the decision about the TMO. Is it going to be upgraded? Okay, the yellow card will remain a yellow card, but it doesn't matter because he's still off the field for the rest of the game. But that just means that he won't get any sort of suspension from it. Rugby is a game of inches, says Wazoo. And oops, did I tempt fate? Apologies, Jimbo, says Kerr. Die, please, says Dyler. And we have got there the George emojis from Jimbo there as well. But nicely claimed by Argentina now. They'll be around the halfway line. The question for me now is, if they're 22 metres out, do they take a draw? Is it something that they would be willing to accept? Or do they go for the win, this Pumas side? I think from how we've seen them play throughout the rest of the game, they'd probably take the chance at a draw. How many minutes left? At the moment, it is only 20 seconds remaining on the clock. Garcia pierces to the left-hand side here. Quick hands from the Pumas. Cut out pass close to the touchline, so they have to cut back inwards. He's done that very well, Santiago Carreras. Come on, Argentina. And come on, Hamish. Tell Chris. But I know what that means, a Safa, so I won't do that. The halfway line now for the Pumas. Plenty of phases being put together by this Argentine side as well. Ireland overrated for sure. Says Luther there. And now big shot coming in. Ireland counter-ruck. That was in through the side from the Irish forward, but straight up the middle. Oviedo up to 40 metres out. In fact, this time it was Juan Matan Gonzalez. The ball is loose. Now Albanoz, he had numbers, but they didn't see him, although nice run forward from Batista Del Gui. They are 22 metres from the line now, Argentina going for the victory. Albanoz dragged down 15 metres out. This game is not over yet and could be far from over. Argentina with the possession here, round the side of the breakdown. Just putting together plenty of phases. Ireland know their discipline now has to be on point. They cannot afford to give away anything in these breakdowns. That was close to the turnover. Caelan Doris, he asked whether or not he's allowed to grab the ball. And the ref tells him no. Which Irish player is going to jump in the breakdown? Who will be the guy who can get that counter ruck going for Ireland? Or are they willing to let Argentina go for a drop kick? Wouldn't quite be the way that we want to see this game end. But it could be the reality. Van den Flaren off his feet. So can't go for that ball. Round the side of the breakdown for Argentina again. They've had plenty of phases here. Back across Albanoz in the middle of the field. Tackled by Caelan Doris. This is either going to be heartbreaking or a massive win for the Argentines. 10 metres from the line. Still no advantage. As a knock-on from Argentina. And that will be the end of the game. Ireland hang on. There is an Argentine player going like this. He feels that there wasn't a knock-on. Molina's not happy, but Ireland will hang on by a thin margin here and win this game 22 points to 19. Tell you what, there's some players taking some very deep breaths at the moment. Game over, says Wazoo, and yes, says Davo. And also, we have got yes, says Barry. And suck it, haters, says Bill in their darn tight game. And all good, says Chris. At Ireland, not as good as people think, says Dwayne, although they've managed to hang on in a game that easily could have gone the other way. But once again, I bring it back up. Argentina opting to go for 3 points when they were down by 6 and had a man advantage. That was the difference maker, unfortunately, for them in this game. And also just not quite being able to finish that last chance. But if they had scored a try in that moment, and if they had been up by 1, perhaps we could have seen Ireland anyway take that 3 points when they had the chance before. So it couldn't have changed the outcome too much. But it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. Argentina playing the French, and Ireland, they will be going head-to-head with the Fijians. And well, that's not convincing at all from the men in green. And we have got there. She was rough, but Ireland got the win. And oh, hell yeah. Actually, it's not just Mike left. My multi-bet, I've got South Africa to beat England tomorrow as well, says Mpilo. And not convinced by Ireland, says Chris, are you doing the ABs and France game? We certainly are. And also the match between England and South Africa. Ireland should drop to 4th, says Benjamin, although they won. So, yeah, it just depends on what happens in those other games. Will depend on where the sides will finish. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Like I said, the next one that we are going to be covering on the channel will be England versus South Africa, closely followed by France versus New Zealand. Joe McCarthy is the man who got man of the match. I would have given it to Robbie Henshaw, to be honest. I felt he was a lot stronger in that backline. McCarthy, though, doing a lot in those breakdowns. Got himself a yellow card in the end, though. So that's why I thought maybe Henshaw would have gotten the nod. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.